It is 7:15 on Saturday the 31st of May. So that's May basically over. We've just popped in this evening to whack a couple of plants in the ground, a couple of things we're doing outside, and right now I'm just getting a good soak of water onto the tomatoes, capsicums and eggplants we've planted in here. There's not a lot of water pressure right now. Someone else might be using the water system, but that's okay. I have this going through my filter, and I'm just leaving it for a little bit of time on each plant. So it's an interesting thing about this filter. I've done a little bit more research since deploying it, and its effectiveness for chloramines maybe not great, but it also depends on the throughput rate, and as you can see our throughput rate's pretty low, so it may be more effective than it would be in a system where it was actually pumping a lot more water through it a lot faster. But it's a thing. We're trying to do it to hopefully maintain some soil biology, but I've also researched what those effects really are, and the answer's a bit mixed. Chlorine does of course kill microbes and soil biology, but it's designed in doses in water systems for the amount of the system, the copper pipes and all of that, and the fact is the moment it hits soil, a lot of the active functionality of that chlorine is neutralized against all the things in the top sort of couple of centimeters of your soil, really. It doesn't hurt to filter it, so I just don't necessarily know if I'd recommend anyone else really bothers to go to that length. But like I said, it definitely won't hurt. So just going to water these things. I'm going to nip the flowers off these little tomatoes. So we don't need that first bract coming off at that sort of height, so we're going to nip all of them off so the tomatoes put their initial energies into growing upwards rather than growing tomatoes. And I only go around and do that just now whilst moving this water occasionally between the plants and giving them a nice deep drink. Now it's 9 PM and we've done some bits and pieces, and this front bed has been nicely weeded out by Cat, and I've just planted some black hollyhocks in here. We've grown these once before and they're quite nice, very dark deep purple of course when I say black, but they're marketed as black of course. That cardoon we rescued from over there a year ago is coming along nice and strong there, and our foxglove clusters are coming along okay. One of them has started to flower. Got some foxgloves just there, and the echinops down here is a little bit raggedy. Just have to make sure I give it some care. We have been fossicking around our garlic a bit just now in the big garlic bed here. Now these ones right in front of me here, they're from our own saved, and we aren't actually sure which it is. It's either Kingsland White or Rose White. I think it might be more Rose White, and it could be a mix, but anyway, the rust is just starting to settle in. You can see it getting there on the leaves. It always happens on these outdoor garlics, and actually it's been not so bad this year. It's been really tame for the rust levels. These are our self-saved Longor shallots down here, and they're going okay. They went in earlier than the ones down the back, which I'll show you in a moment, but they aren't quite as good. And the ones down the back were from bought seed, and I think these ones here, they're bought seed at the back, and these are saved bulbs / seed at the front. But but we've done really well with our own saved garlic bulbs. And as you can see down there, I've been checking and they have bulbed out quite nicely. I've checked some of the bought ones down the end there and they aren't doing as well, slightly annoyingly. The bulbs are small, but we'll wait and see. It's still only the end of May, so normally we'd be harvesting garlic later in June from this bed. That is a little impromptu harvest of rhubarb. Our rhubarb is not very pink this year for some reason. It's never the pinkest of rhubarbs, but because there's so much of it, we can just take the bottom couple of inches, and that'll be enough pinkness really, and I've basically done that as a result of massively clearing out the rhubarb. It was just gone mad, and it's very wet from all that rain. The stems are lush. This has opened up the space into these broad beans a bit more, and you can see they're coming along, but those pods are not ready for harvesting yet. They're bulking out pretty quickly though. This is those overgrown going to seed cabbages, or it was rather. There's 3 there that haven't bolted, so I'm hoping we can get a bit more use out of them. So I've trimmed them back a bit and kept them there. And then, like I said, celeriac has gone to this spot here. So that's our celeriac. And should take a moment to have a look at the kohlrabi here. That's looking amazing. There's some peas in the middle of it which are really badly shadowed. But look at that, you can see a nice little kohlrabi down there. We're not really that familiar with kohlrabi as a vegetable, but we saw them in the Skylight Garden Centre before we had much of our own things ready to go in, and they were one of our first things into these beds. So let me try and weave my way down here. My sandals keep getting caught on the nets, which causes all kinds of hassle and swearing. Things are going well here. The intersown coriander there received its first cropping a couple of days ago, or yesterday actually, and I've started taking out the lettuces as wholes, which is why there's a big gap there. Right, so wandering towards the back, haven't really done much on the new plot today. I did try to get the rest of that roof clipped down, but I need a screwdriver that I don't have with me. Nothing really happened in here except for the watering, so they've all been given a nice drink. Strawberries down here. These are not really looked after strawberries. This whole bit of the plot's a mess. There's grass weed and there's morning glory weed growing in there, and these fairly useless what are they called? Things. Look though, the strawberries are giving us strawberries. So there's a nice ripe strawberry down there, which will be our snack. There's another one under there, and we've just vaguely popped these little old keg tops on them to make sure we get a few and the birds don't get all of them. Of course, all that weeding out of cabbage and other stuff rhubarb has filled up our compost bay, that will rot down pretty quickly, and the compost bay is still cooking along pretty well. And then and the last thing is just I mentioned these shallots up the back here, and as you can see they're looking pretty nice. They're definitely a bit bigger looking than the other ones at the front, but these were from bought seed from the I think it was the Isle of Wight Garlic Company or something. This is also supposed to be the asparagus bed from the asparagus we saved from the new plot, but I don't know if it's gonna settle in that well, but we're just letting them grow there, and we'll see if they do a thing. It's only been there a few months now, and this is its first growth, so it doesn't really prove anything yet, though we seem to be generally having a pretty bad year for the old asparagus. Where I showed you that rhubarb before, down here, is supposed to be our asparagus bed, and our harvest so far this year has been about 6 spears, and there's just not much coming along out of that. You can see a few small frondy wisps there, and that's it. So that's a little bit disappointing, but yeah, we'll get this rhubarb home, and hopefully get a bit more time down here tomorrow. And I'm watching a nice big bumblebee enjoying the field bean flowers. Can I catch him? He was down there somewhere. I can hear him. I can't see him. Oh, okay, no bumblebee, but those field beans are looking rather good. Okay, it's about 10 to 7 on Sunday, the 1st of June. June is here, and things are looking a bit different here. So these tables have been moved forward to the front Three Sisters bed, as we're calling it at the moment. I have attacked this old IBC that was in the ditch with the angle grinder, and we now have a top and a bottom half. I have no idea what to do. This does have a bit of a hole in it, so that's not going to be watertight. We could maybe have a square pond. Maybe, not sure where we'd fit it, but or it could actually just stay right there and we have a pond up the front. I don't know. Not sure what to do with these at the moment. They could be beds, they could be like we could have a wet garden bed or something. I don't know. Anyway, a lot of this has happened and a lot of shuffling has happened because we decided that the first Three Sisters bed we'll bring into use is this back one. So Kat has been busy scooping the wood chip off of that, and now I'm bringing over some wheelbarrow full of the municipal compost we've had sitting up the front for a couple of months now. I have also been working on the greenhouse, so we've got the whole back wall in now, and the top is now properly clipped in as well. So that's useful. And the other thing I've been doing is a bunch of strimming up the back and around the front, just to sort of clean things up a bit. As we now have a nice clear DMZ at the back. So the general thought of that is obviously that there's not a big pile of weeds there spreading their seeds right over the back fence, but also if there's a bare area, I think it's less likely that critters will enter the plot. We've been burning through some pallet wood. Now that we don't need the pallets as scaffold in the greenhouse anymore, we need to start disposing of them. And you may have noticed the other big change back here is it's a bit clearer, and there's a cat in the corner. And those IBCs have been stacked. We've got to work out how to deal with this area. This is a big mound of dirt there. It all needs flattening out at some point, and that's where the bench that I've mentioned before is going to go. Yeah, and that's it for today so far. We're going to sort of try and get some stuff onto that Three Sisters bed per se, some of that municipal compost, and it's probably time for us to head home and barbecue some lamb chops. The weather has not been as good as I'd hoped today. It was a bit better yesterday, but we didn't do so much yesterday. Okay, time to shunt that compost from those bags down there. Well, it's just past 8 PM now, and we've been here longer than planned, but oh well. Still some sun in the sky, and look, that looks like the first of the raspberries on our raspberry cage here. Quite a few fruit forming. So that's pretty cool. First raspberry. So the key thing that's happened since my last little video is we have got this Three Sisters bed done. That's actually tomatillos in the foreground, and then a row of multi-sown sweet corns in at the back, which aren't looking the best. They've been sort of kicking around in our conservatory for longer than they really ought to have, but hopefully they'll settle into their new home and give us some corn cobs. And the plan for this bed is basically to have 4 pumpkins in the middle of it, beans down the side. We're not really doing the Three Sisters traditional type of thing with the beans up the corn and all that sort of thing, because it doesn't really work in our climate, I think. But that's just the name we've given the bed. It's a nice big walkover bed. I don't know if we'll ever divide that up. We might put some little paths in it or something, but I don't know. It's just a big growing space, and the idea is to then mirror that down here and have the same sort of growing space there. But yeah, we've got those plants in, so that's kind of cool, and we're wrapping up and heading home now. The burning bin has been put to bed. That's the good thing about having these little ones here, and now we've got this kind of interesting double wall set up. I'm relatively comfortable to just pop the lid on that and head off. We're good. Oh, and I did get that bit trimmed there, so look, that's nice and trimmed out and looking a bit neater. So the trimming on the plot's all been done for today, and we'll no doubt need doing pretty soon as everything bursts into growth, especially if we get much more of that rain. But look, we have the promise of future raspberries happening all around us. Okay, well, we're packing into the car and gonna head home and barbecue some Barnsley chops, which I've been looking forward to ever since I bought them Saturday afternoon. Okay,